Welcome back to Man Down Sports. Let's recap the T Wolves and the OKC Thunder game 4. Right? 128, 126. Very close ball game. It was nip and tuck pretty much the whole game. I think the advantage that OKC got was winning the first quarter, winning the second quarter. Right? They won the first quarter by 7 points. Or maybe 6 points. Let me double check. They won the first quarter by 7 points, 37-30. They won the second quarter by 1 point, so they go into halftime up 8. And the T Wolves actually won the third and fourth quarters, but it was not enough for them to close that 8-point deficit they went into the halftime with. So they end up losing by 2, even though they outscored them by 3 in the third and by 3 in the fourth, right? But it was very close. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where in boxing, if you're fighting for the title belt and you're the underdog, you got to actually beat the champs. You gotta actually beat them convincingly. You can't go to a decision. That's kind of how it was in the second half for Minnesota. They needed to actually beat them like down to actually overcome that lead. You just can't go trade punches with them, right? And that's what they did. They traded punches with them third and fourth quarter. Like they fought, but it was just them trading punches, right? So we're gonna get into all of that, man. Then we're gonna open the phone lines up for everybody, man. I see some comments in here. Taco Master say 14 free throws. I guess he's talking about SGA. I guess you can ignore the fact that the last, I don't know, 6 free throws he got was them fouling in the fourth quarter to stop the clock. And they just giving the ball to SGA because he's the best free throw shooter on the floor. Right. So you give it to him, you let him get fouled. It was intentional fouls, a lot of intentional fouls for him to finish out that fourth quarter. So most of those free throws came from there. And as far as the other free throws he got, like which one of the free throws you had an issue with? Or were they not fouls that put him to the line? I'm confused. Like it's almost to the point where, like, I guess people that are detractors of SGA don't want him to get any free throws. Like, hey, let's just make it unfair. We should be able to foul you all game and you never get any free throws. I guess that's what it is. I mean, was it not called even down the line? Was it foul baiting? Was it flopping? I didn't see that. I didn't see none of that. So but I've grown to learn what it really is. That's a problem. We'll get to that. I want to get into the game first. Prince said SGA the best in the game. Man, SGA is a bad boy. He's a bad boy. Can't man strikes again. Julia is no handle, 1 for 7 field goals. I mean, that was tough. Rich Paul and LaJuice James need to go away. They were fouling him at the end. That's like 6, right? Yeah, yep. That's pretty much what it was. I mean, just but I guess anything. I don't know. The low hanging fruit is crazy. To not to dislike this man or discredit him. It's crazy. Just from a basketball perspective, call the game, call it how you see it. Critique the players how you see it and take the feeling. But it's very hard to take the feelings out. I get it. Like, I get it, man. Fandom, being a fan and being a fan of a team, being a fan of a player. Sometimes that makes you like if you're a Carolina Tar Heel fan, you just automatically don't like Duke, right? So you just automatically and I used to be a Tar Heel fan and I used to hate Duke, right? So when I was in my fandom lifestyle and my fandom stage, yeah, I hated Duke. Absolutely hated. Couldn't say anything good bad about him. Like, it didn't feel natural. It didn't even feel good for me to say anything good about Duke, right? I was overly critical of them. But that was a lot of things that I said about them that had some truth to it. But like, I couldn't even enjoy what was good. Like, Kyrie Irving played for them. I couldn't even enjoy Kyrie ever. I couldn't. I was a Harrison Barnes guy. Even though I'm watching Kyrie Irving cook, I'm a Harrison Barnes guy, and I had to go and fight and have arguments with people to tell them that Harrison Barnes was better than Kyrie Irving. Like, I literally was at my son's soccer game arguing with a dad that was a Duke fan about Harrison Barnes and Kyrie Irving. That's what fandom do. Fandom will have you arguing for the lesser team and the lesser player just because you're a fan and you're a diehard. I had to get that lifestyle up. Haven't been a fan since like 2016. I'm a fan of basketball. That's it, right? So I think that's a different perspective that some people don't have. So I don't know. I think everybody should give it a shot, give it a try. Drop your team, drop your favorite player, just like the sport, and then see how that feels to you. And you might be able to come to like the chat and like really talk about the game instead of having to watch a 40-point a 40-point triple double basically with good defense and good shot making and shooting over 50%. You have to watch that and then come in and say, ball humbug, 14 free throws. You get what I'm saying, Taco Master? Just give that some thought though. Give that some thought. So both teams shot the blood out of the ball. Both teams shot over 50% from the field and over 40% from the three. Chet Holmgren was amazing. I mean, some of the play, like SGA didn't have to make all the plays, even though he made plenty, right? He didn't have to make all the plays because Chet and Jalen Williams took turns making huge plays. Right? SGA's off the ball, and Chet, he's driving to the hole and he's getting past Randall or getting past Gobert, and he's getting layups and dunks and stuff like that, offensive rebounds, blocks at the rim, clutch threes. Minnesota hit so many clutch shots between DiVincenzo and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And there was one more person hitting the threes. It was and Naz Reid was hitting some as well, but every time they made a big three to cut it to three or cut it to two, OKC came right back down and got something good. Whether it was a 17-footer from Jalen Williams, a mid-range from Shea, or something at the basket from Chet. Right? I mean, it was just timely buckets. Both teams, timely buckets. It was just that OKC played a little bit better than they did in the first quarter. That first quarter, they was able to get that lead to about 7 or 8 and basically maintain it the entire game. Right. So that's huge for a team to get the lead and never give it back up on the road in Minnesota. We're going to come out here with our game plan, and obviously that game plan was we're not going to let Ant-Man run wild. He's a great athlete. Once he gets on the run and on the go, that's when he's trouble. So we said, Dort, this has to be one of your best performances. You're first team all defense, right? This has to be one of your best defensive performances, and you need to stay attached to Ant-Man at all times. When he don't have the ball, I want y'all chest to chest, right? Skin to skin, body to body, right? Twin, whatever. That's how I wanted Lu Dort, and that's how he was. And it tired him out. And this was what was going on off the ball before he can even get the ball. Once he got the ball, Lu Dort still on him very tight. Every dribble was contested. Every dribble, right? He's up on him. And then if you screen him off, they're switching or doubling. Like, because Lu Dort didn't really want to give that assignment up. So he was fighting over most screens, and 3 times he got hip checked on the screen because he was so tight he was so tight on Edwards going over the screen that if the screener didn't move, he wasn't going to get a piece of him on the screen. So he was so tight with Ant-Man coming around the screen and going over the screen. McDaniel one time had to move over and hip check him or elbow check him to get the screen to get a piece of him. I think I want to say, who else had a screen like that hip checked them? I think it was 2 of them, and I'm sure it happened 3 or 4 times. They only called 2 of them, but it was at crucial moments, right? It was at crucial moments, man. But that's how much Dort wanted. He didn't want to get it, and that's what I'm used to in the '90s, man. Like, people, if you're my assignment and the game plan is we got to stop you, and I'm the best defender, ain't no way a screen is getting me off of you. Ain't no way a screen is getting me off you. You know what I mean? That's like when you really want a person, like when you really want to fight a person, right? Once I get a hold of you and start putting these paws on you, can't nobody get me off you except my mama and probably the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Like I got to hear one of them say, "Stop, chill, Black." Like if I hear my mama say, "Leave him alone," that might get me off of you. If I really want you, that might get me off of you. That's how Lou Dort was guarding Ant-Man. Like, no, I'm not giving this assignment up. I'm fighting over all the screens. Even if you want to switch, I'm coming over the screen and I'm getting back on that man. You need to get back on yours, right? I like that. That's leadership. That's guts. You know, and he guarded the best player on the other team and said, "I'm going to take this assignment." And he pretty much shut him down. He ended up with what, 16 points. He ended up with 16 and he only took 13 shots. Like, this is the critique that we gave SGA last game, took 13 shots. The difference is the last game was a blowout and SGA didn't play the fourth quarter. Ant-Man played four quarters and only took 13 shots. This is the second time in this series, the second game in this series, he only got 13 shots off. And it wasn't 13 shots because he was passive. It was 13 shots because the defense was so suffocating. I don't even think he got a shot off in the first quarter. He took probably 0 shots in the first quarter, maybe 1. Took a couple in the second quarter. I think he went to the half. Was he 1 for 2 or 1 for 4? And he hit he went to the free throw line twice. So I think he had 6 points at the half and 1 field goal, right? 1 field goal and four free throws. So you know, with 6. That's what he was. I think he was 1 for 5 at the half or something like that. It's insane. He couldn't even get a shot off, right? Lou Dort was all over him. Caruso was all over him. Who else was all over him? SGA at times. Who else switched on it? Case and Wallace. And of course Jalen Williams. I mean, all of those are good defenders. So you're switching. This is the thing that made Golden State so good when they had Iguodala. That was, he still had some of his prime years left. Had Iguodala, you had Draymond Green, you had Klay Thompson, great defender. Those are 3 great defenders, and then for the first time in his career, Kevin Durant was a really great defender as well. So, but you running through screens and getting switched off, and every time you get switched off, you got a great defender on you, right? You had to hunt for Steph Curry to get an easy shot for your best player. You had to hunt him in screens to get a switch on Steph because you weren't getting nothing easy from KD, Draymond, Iguodala, or Klay, right? That's the type of stuff we got going on. And Livingston, yeah, thank you, Jeff. Livingston was a good defender as well, man. It was just, it was a phenomenal issue to have as a team. Like, this is great. Like, I got all these great defenders around me, and that's what I like about players that you can build around with people that defend. It's some players that the way their offense is ran, they prioritize building around him with shooters. Like, imagine one team is almost like the 3 Little Pigs. One team is building their house from brick and one is building it from straw, right? 3s are straw. That's weak to me because it's flimsy. When they're not hitting, right? But defense is like a brick house, right? So imagine a player saying, well, my offense don't work unless everyone around me is a shooter. There's not a lot of shooters, pure 3-point shooters, that are also great defenders. It's just not. I don't know why, but great defenders and great shooters don't really go together that much. And if they do, they're not all-star level players, right? So if you go to the all-star list right now and tell me the best 3-point shooters on the all-star, you're gonna have Steph, you're gonna have Trae Young, you're gonna have Dame Lillard, right? These are the guys that are great 3-point shooters. Who else you might have? Those are 3 names that come out right away. Karl Anthony Towns is a great 3-point shooter for his position. So when you build your team with great 3-point shooters, they're not always great defenders if they're at the all-star level, right? But you can find good 3-and-D guys that are at a level lower than the all-star, right? You know, and that's when you got your Malik Beasleys, your Caldwell Popes, players like that, you know, great shooters, but not great defenders. Or great shooters, but great defenders, but not all-star level players, right? So if you're looking for a shooter and you're looking for 4 shooters in your offense, you're going to end up with players like Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, KCP. Like, that's just what you're going to end up with. And you wonder why you don't have all-stars surrounding people like Jokic, because you're looking for shooters. But when you just look for basketball players, right, especially basketball players that want to compete and play on the defensive end, you can build those into all-stars. You can get a Scottie Pippen and build him into an all-star. He play all the way to he's 25 and then finally make an all-star. 25, 26, and now he's also he know what hard work is about. He know what grit is about, right? So defense is not something that he just like, I don't have to do it. I'm so talented offensively. Defense is optional. Everybody else around me can play defense. I'm such a good offensive player. They're going to build defenders around me, and they'll play defense for me, right? So when you got a player who, hey, I can work with these great defenders, and they can work on their offense and get better, right? They can work on their offense, but I don't require you to come in all-star level offense right now and not consider or not concerned about defense at all. Give me the defenders. Give me Casey Wallace and Jalen Williams and the other Jalen Williams and the shot blocking Chet. Like, Chet went to Gonzaga and did nothing but block shots. He didn't score a ton. He didn't score a ton, right? But he got talent. He got a lot of offensive prowess. He got a lot of offensive ability. But yeah, like, you get him, you get these guys, you get Jalen Williams. They're not just straight studs. They're not D Wades and Bosches coming into the league. These are guys that had to go get it, man. They had to go get it, right? So I like when you can put defenders around a guy and it still works. And because defense is actually the way OKC is built right now is the way probably I want to say 75% of the playoff teams in the 90s was built like this. Tenacious defense. I mean, the Pacers with Rich Smits as a shot blocker. He ain't no different than what Chet Holmgren doing right now, except he don't play on the perimeter. He play in the post, right? But great shot blocker. You had Davis brothers, Antonio Davis and Dale Davis, amazing defenders, amazing rebounders. You had Aaron McKee. I mean, he was a unicorn back then. He was a 6'10" small forward. Another good defender. And then you had Mark Jackson and Reggie Miller in the backcourt, right? I think Nate McMillan was coming off the bench. He was their best defender at on ball as a point guard. Amazing team. Then the New York Knicks, we already know what they was about. Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing, Anthony Mason, Charles Smith, Starks, Derek Harper, Greg Anthony coming off the bench, great defensive team. Then we had Miami, Lonzo Mourning, Mashburn, Tim Hardaway, Dan Marley, Vashawn Leonard, PJ Brown. Great defense, tenacious defense, right? The teams that competed was great defenses. And then you go on the West and you got Dennis Rodman and David Robinson in San Antonio, Chuck Pearson, Avery Johnson, Vinny. I mean, these teams thrived off defense. Right? So OKC their team is built a lot like how the teams were in the 90s, built around defense with a star and a co-star, right? You got a star, you got a co-star. Your third guy is competent as well. I mean, Michael Jordan was a star. Pippen was his co-star. Horace Grant was a third guy that was competent, right? So Alonzo Mourning was a star. Tim Hardaway was his co-star, and then Mashburn was another competent third guy. That's how it is. Shador Seymour said, "Am I calling Jalen Williams a bum? Did you hear me say anything about a bum?" I said I said they built that team with defenders, and when you build a team and you don't necessarily have to look for a guy that's a shooter first, like you get what I'm saying. The offenses that Luka, Jokic, LeBron, Harden when he was in Houston, the way they built those teams is find me who can shoot, because this offense is predicated on no one being in the paint. All 5 guys been on the perimeter. And my lob threat is setting screens every play and rolling. And the option is either you're going to live with what James Harden is going to do downhill with a layup. If you rotate to stop the lob from the roll guy, Harden can make that pass in the corner for a 3, or wherever you leave, whatever you rotate from, Harden can make that pass for the 3, right? So the offense is pretty much 3 options. Harden going downhill, you stop that. His second read is the lob. If you rotate to stop that, the third read is a 3-point shot, right? That doesn't work if that guy can't shoot over there. If that guy is Cephalosha in the corner, or if that guy's a Roberson in the corner and he can't shoot, that play doesn't work, because we're just going to rotate over and stop the lob every time and maybe switch on Harden and make sure he don't get downhill. Then at that point, the only option you got is, okay, now I got to switch. I got a mismatch. Now we're going to spread the floor and let Harden go one-on-one, step back 3. That's their entire offense, and it doesn't work without at least 3 shooters on the floor. You can have that one guy that's setting screens and rolling for the lob, right? But you have to have at least 3 shooters. So the GM says that if we want to run this offense, I have to go find shooters. Imagine going in the draft and the best 5 players aren't shooters. They're just basketball players. A couple of big men, a couple of guards like SGA that shoot the mid-range. You got to pass on them guys. Or you got to get one of them guys and tell them you got to shoot threes. You got to learn how to shoot threes, which is what they did to Carmelo and CP3 when they came to play with Harden. They told Carmelo, you can't take mid-range no more. You can't dribble and pull up from the mid-range. You can't get in the mid-post. Everything has to be 3. And then he fought them on that, and then they came back and was like, okay, we'll let you take 3 mid-ranges a game. He said that. This is what they told him. So my point is this. If you're going to go look for players to build around a player, and you can't just go find players, you got to find shooters, specifically shooters, that limits what you can build around. Because now once you get them shooters, okay, now we got the shooters, the offense is going to work. Now how you go defend? And you run into the issue that everybody ran into that was surrounding their team with shooters. Rockets. We always talked about, oh man, the defense ain't there. Same thing we saying about Denver. Defense, defense, defense. So yeah, I stand corrected on that, right? Shador. When you build your team and you specifically looking for shooters, that's what you get. But when you can go find a basketball player, then you can build a team with guys that's out there and they all defend. They all defend. So I think I explained that well. I don't know how you was confused about that, but I'm pretty sure I explained that well, right? So let's get into some of the stuff that let me see if I can get it and make sure I can get this sound right. But I'm gonna play some of the post game interview for y'all. And then I'm going to open the phone lines up, and we'll get it. We'll have a good conversation about this stuff. Man, what y'all think? Y'all think the series over at 3-1 though? y'all think y'all think anything can y'all think they can come back from 3-1? I mean, hopefully they're not defeated, man. Hopefully they don't come out and give and just give up in this game, because this game going back to OKC, right? So it's gonna be interesting. I know OKC is gonna be loud. They're gonna be expecting
to this team.
They're gonna be expecting they're gonna be expecting the closeout. I think OKC knows that this team is too good, and as far as Minnesota, that they can't have a game like they had in Game 3, where they give them more confidence, because we're coming back to Minnesota at that point. So if you go home and you let them get that Game 5, and then you come back to Minnesota, I mean, you just had a blowout in Minnesota and a 2-point win in Minnesota, right? It's not going to be easy, right? And I wanted to, did they learn anything from the Denver series, where they had a chance to close them out in Game 6, but they didn't, and they had to go home in Game 7 and get it done. They got it done, but you don't want to put yourself in that situation. You have to treat Game 5 like it's Game 7, right? So you have to get that win in Game 5. But let's listen to this first sound you're going to hear is from some local announcers at the OKC game. They kind of summed some things up pretty well that I wanted to point out
to this team and what they're all about. And then, oh, by the way, the ability for the group to trust and believe in one another. And suddenly Aaron Wiggins didn't see a second on the floor tonight.
Right.
Isaiah Joe didn't play a ton, but hit a couple big shots, had a huge and one. Mm-hmm. Everybody matters on this team, and they're always ready to step in and make a big impact when they get their chance.
Well, you know what else matters on this team? How about the MVP of the league, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 40 points. 10 rebounds. The man was 10 assists, excuse me. 9 rebounds. He was almost there. Almost had that triple-double. But the man was all over the court, and he got out to such a strong start. 13 points in the first quarter, Royce.
Yeah, and, I will say, Paris, I kind of loved it. The Wolves fans are booing SGA. I don't really know why they're booing him and why they don't like him. But it was kind of fun to listen to the boos get quieter and quieter as SGA cooked them for 40 points tonight.
It did get a little silent in this arena towards the end.
And it was just like they started to see, like, I think there was almost kind of a respect level of like, yeah, that guy's good. I mean, that was an MVP level performance in every way possible. The physicality the Wolves played him with, but the way that he was able to get to his shots. Again, he was a big part of the answers that the Thunder had. The work on the glass was huge in this one as the OKC played small.
Okay. So I like that he pointed that out. They've been booing him for 2 games every time he touched the ball. Usually like a player like Draymond Green, or a player that done flagrant fouled somebody or hard fouled somebody or done something real crazy, they get boos. Usually a player that used to play for your team but got traded and went to a rival, when they come back to the arena, they get booed. I'm still trying to figure out what Shai has said or done for the Minnesota crowd to boo him every time he touches the ball. But like the reporter said, those boos started to get weaker and weaker and weaker as the game went by, because he kept dropping shots on them and cooked them for 40 points, 9 rebounds, and 10 assists, or 10 rebounds and 9 assists, right? So those boos got very quiet. And this is what I figured out about what's going on with Shai. Because what you would hear is that he shoots too many free throws. He's a foul merchant. He flops. He baits the rest for whistles and stuff like that. And then you hear, I think that's really the critique. And I'm like, dang, when you think about when you critique a player and it be like, man, what was the flaw in this player's game? And you don't have like with James Harden, the flaw was, first of all, he played a horrible brand of basketball. He was ball dominant. He never came off the ball. He didn't do anything off the ball. He held the ball for most of the shot clock. He dribbled through his legs. He took horrible step back threes. Even though he was making them during his MVP run. That's horrible offense. Nobody else really got involved in that offense but him. Everybody just, shooting threes. And then he was horrible on defense. A lot of times he was out of shape. Things of that nature, right? He didn't show up in crucial games a lot. Like that's a lot of critique for a guy like that, right? When you go to Luka, a lot of critique. Oh man, ball dominant. Same thing. The same critiques you have on Harden, you had on Luka. The same exact critiques. Jokic, close to the same critiques. No defense. A horrible brand of basketball where it's everything is on him. I mean, LeBron. So many of these players got a lot of critiques. Even when you look at Ant-Man, there's a lot of critique to go around. When you start to go to a player and the only critique you got is that he shoot too many free throws. Your only critique is he shoot free. Like you ain't got no critique on him off the court. You ain't got no defensive critique on him. You ain't got no critique of him playing bad basketball, being ball dominant, not doing nothing off the ball, being out of shape, saying stupid stuff in the media, getting in trouble off the court. Like none of these, like the critique you have on Ant-Man, babies. I mean, like it's insane. Ja Morant, Ant-Man, Jokic, Harden, LeBron. Like it's so much critique to go around, and it's not just off the court. It's also their game that you critique. The weaknesses you can just glaringly see in their game. And then when I ask you, what's the weakness in SGA's game that you want to critique, and you say, well, he shoots too many free throws. That's not a weakness, sir. Shooting free throws is not a weakness. What's the weakness in his game? Somebody tell me what's the weakness in his game, right? Your only critique is that he shoot free throws. So I had to think about it and start like analyzing the people who critique SGA in this way. And I found a couple of things. These are the people who critique him. And I found out that it's not a real critique. It's just the only one they got. It's the lowest hanging fruit. It's the only one they got. They don't have a real critique, but this would do because it's the only way I can punch back at them. This is what it is. It started with Jokic fans because SGA, once they found out SGA was going to win the MVP, and this was obvious when he started running away with the best record in the league and kept putting up 40 and 50-point games. It was obvious he was going to win MVP. And even I want to be honest with you, I don't even think the people who voted for him really wanted to vote for him. They just didn't have no choice. Like he really just came and took it. Like how do you not give it to a dude that led a 68-win team when the guy that you want to give it to, his team only won 50? Right. So how do you give it to that guy? Right. So the people who are Jokic and Denver Nuggets fans, they're mad at SGA for taking Jokic's MVP the same way they was mad at Embiid when he won it. They call Embiid all types of names, foul merchant. They call it pretty much the same things. Same things, but like I said, there is basketball critique you can give Embiid. He's always injured. He's always injured in the playoffs at the wrong time. He's disappeared in some games in the playoff as well, too. Right. So it's so much critique that can go around for all these guys. But when you get to SGA, it's very little critique on his basketball game when you have to go to free throws. Right. So the Jokic fans and Denver Nuggets fans, they're pissed off at him. The second group of people who got an issue with him are people who their favorite team or their favorite player has got put out of the playoffs by him or about to get put out of the playoffs. So if you're an Ant-Man guy, if you're a LeBron guy, not LeBron, Denver guy, Memphis Grizzly guy, those, though, if you're any of those guys, foul merchant. Like it's Denver Nuggets fans is watching the games just to see SGA fail, and when he don't fail, it's a foul merchant thing, right? And it's so funny because I watched the game on a streaming app, and they got a comment section. And every time he gets fouled, they say, "Oh my God, once he hit the free throw line again, foul merchant, foul." It don't matter what the foul looked like. You know what I mean? Like that was actually saying he was a foul merchant when he was getting fouled in the fourth quarter. When there was intentional fouling him, that was calling him a foul merchant. That was calling him free throw merchant when they was intentionally fouling him. Right? So, I'm like, man, these people are insufferable, man. They just dislike him because he's done something to them personally, or done something to their team, or their favorite player personally. They took something from him. They took the playoffs from him, or they took the MVP from him, right? Or in the last group of people, are people who some people just don't like foreigners, right? And they see him as a foreigner. He's from Canada, like we want our American players to be the faces of the league and all that stuff, man. And some people like, I'm not going for it. So I'm just not. I'm gonna find somebody else to root for. It ain't gonna be him, right? It ain't gonna be none of the foreigners. So that's what it is. That's what it boils down to. I mean, because if your only critique, hey, look, I'm good with that. If your only critique is free throws, all right, cool. Well, watch me shoot them then. Right? We gave you a game where he only got 2 free throws. Minnesota won it. And we gave you another game where Minnesota got more free throws than OKC in Minnesota. SGA was getting knocked all over the place. There was a lot of no calls. That he played through it. He was able to get to the line. I would say legit 6 to 8 times. He got to the line, and then what somebody said he shot 14 free throws. I didn't even notice that, because the last time I checked, it was around 7 or 8 free throws. But like I said, he was the guy that they was fouling intentionally and put them on the line for the final 6 free throws for OKC, and he synced all of them but one. So that's where he got the extra free throws from. But hey, that's what happens when you can shoot the free throw line or shoot the free throw above 90%. Right. So they gave you 2 games in Minnesota where free throws wasn't a real factor, right? Not a factor enough for you to complain about. So for SGA, or for Ant-Man and Randall to go to the score, the post game with the score sheet, and they ask you what happened, and you point to the daggone score sheet and laugh. Like, as soon as they did that, it reminded me of the finals when Miami in the Big 3 with LeBron and Wade was playing Dirk, and Dirk they lost a game because Dirk had a illness. He had some type of, he didn't have the flu, but he had some type of cold that that was really holding him back, and he was coughing. And after Miami won that game, I think they went up like 2-1 or something like that. And they was walking, D Wade and LeBron they just didn't respect their opponent, and they didn't respect the game. Knowing all those cameras was right there, and you tried to be funny and cough like it was some type of inside joke. And that got back to Dirk, and he found out they did that. He saw they did that. And if you let him tell it in the interview, because when they got inducted to the Hall of Fame, D Wade invited Dirk and Tony Parker and some other people to do a podcast with him. And Dirk told him that pissed him off. What Dirk did to them the rest of that series was X-rated and illegal in 20 states. He went raw dog on all of them. Nobody could guard him. Unstoppable. For you to go Super Saiyan like that and beat a super team when you didn't even have an all-star on your team, and let that sink in. Dirk, no all-stars, beat a super team with 3 superstars, 3 number 1 proven players, 3 all-stars, and he beat them. Imagine that, right? But yeah, that's what happens when you don't take it serious. Don't take your opponent serious when you can think you can come out here and laugh at them and disrespect them like that. You get what I'm saying? I think that like that's childish. This is the type of stuff that Ant-Man hasn't grown up from yet. Right? He's 23. He's a young man, but some of the things he haven't grown up from. He just don't know no better. Like to say nobody in the 90s could play except Michael Jordan. Like, come on, man. Like these are the silly things right here, right? But let's hear a word from the coach.
What stood out to you about J-Dub's scoring tonight in particular?
I mean, he's still learning. He's a young player still, and he has these, these are rich experiences for him. And last game they did a good job on him. They got him, forced him right. Kept him on his right hand. Thought he fought that a little bit. He's trying to fight to his left hand, and tonight he just kind of took what they gave him and still found his cracks. He was still able to get in both directions, but he just was in control most of the night. I mean, he never seemed sped up. He never seemed like they were dictating anything, and that's what the great offensive players can do. And just a great adjustment by him tonight in the game. I thought he was outstanding offensively.
He was outstanding, 34 points. I mean, you get 40 from your best player and the MVP. You get 40 from him, but you get 30 from Jay Will. I mean, he came out in the first quarter and was ready to go, man. I mean, he was balling. And it's weird because I thought Randall would come out like that as well. Like, I mean, it was just weird. I mean, SGA and Williams, I guess they said that they didn't match their intensity last game, and this is the first thing we got to do next game. We got to match their intensity, and then we can't turn the ball over, right? I think they was able to do that. They turned it. SGA did have 5 turnovers, and I didn't like 2 of them for sure, right? One of them was that last turnover he threw the ball away to kill the clock. After he got that loose ball with 3 seconds left, he threw it up in the air and it went out of bounds. That was one of his turnovers. Another one of his turnovers was an offensive foul on his cousin, where he stopped on the pivot and tried to go into a spin and brought his elbow up in his chin. That was an offensive foul. So those was 2 turnovers. Okay, the offensive foul wasn't a live ball turnover where it turned into a fast break and 2 points or 3 points. So I'm not even mad at that. When he was making a play, trying to get a shot off, his elbow rose up and hit him in the face, right? And then the other 2, I don't remember the third one, but I remember the first 2. One, he threw a pass. It got tipped by McDaniels. He was trying to get it to the 3-point line over on the left side to Chet coming off a screen, and he threw it, and McDaniels was guarding him. But he backed off of him a little bit, and he was able to throw his hand up there and knock it. Right, that was one of them. And the other one was late in the game when it was up. I want to say they was up 5, and they inbounced the ball, and I think it might have been a minute or just under a minute. So they was going to probably attempt to steal a couple of times and then eventually foul you if y'all was milking the clock. And he got the ball on the inbounds. He was in the crowd, and he just exposed the ball out. He had it in 2 hands, but he exposed it for some reason, and it just got knocked loose. That turnover I didn't like. Those are the 2 turnovers I really didn't like. I don't remember the third one, and the offensive foul and the one with on the buzzer. That was his 5, right? So 2 of them was really bad for sure. 2 horrible turnovers. He ended up with 5, but no, back to Jalen Williams, right? He's at the point. This is his first year as an all-star. He averaged 20 points a game. He made second team all defense, I think, or maybe first. Oh, no, Lou Dort made first. He made second. So he's established himself as an all-star, established himself as a defensive player, and he's a young guy, and he's giving you 20 points a game, so 21 points a game. So he's scoring a rock. His ascension into an all-star and to a key contributor as a co-star and as a number 2, or as a Robin, whatever you want to call him, reminds me of the ascension of Scottie Pippen. Now, Scottie Pippen didn't get to his all-star until what was his 20s? How old was Pippen? Let me see. Scotty made All-Star in 89 and 90. And then they won the championship in 90, 91. He wasn't an All-Star that year. So when he became an All-Star, where he was a consistent All-Star for a time, was 91, 92. They won the championship that year as well. And next year he averaged 21, because the first time he made All-Star, he averaged 16. Then the year they won the championship, he averaged 18. Then the year he made All-Star again for the second time, that's the year that reminds me of this year for Jalen Williams. Scotty was 26 that year. Right now, Jalen Williams is 23. But Scotty averaged 21, the same exact average that Jay Will has right now. He averaged 21 this year. He made All-Star, second team defense. Scottie Pippen averaged 21 in 91, 92. He made All-Star. He made second team All-NBA, and he made first team All-Defense. So it's kind of similar, that ascension, as a number two. And then Scottie Pippen had his issues early. Not being able to, I guess, get over the hump mentally against Detroit. Like, he had major struggles against Detroit. They got in his head purposely, and it worked. He sat out that one time with the migraine in a crucial game 6 or 7, maybe it was. I just can't go. I can't do it. He just sat out. Legs working, arms working, everything working. Body feel good. It was just a headache, a migraine. I know it must have been bad for him to not be able to play. And I don't think nobody should force themselves out there when they're in that type of pain, because you never know what's going on internally. You don't want a situation where somebody get out there and collapse. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not saying he should have played. I'm just saying, he had to ascend to a competent co-star that can't be broken mentally in big games or against immense pressure from a team, and mind games and things of that nature. You had to be able to show up. And I think last year was the year that Jalen Williams really didn't show up the way he did in the regular season. He didn't show up against Dallas, and it hurt them enough for Stephen A. Smith to say that OKC will go as far as Jay Will take him, because he think, according to Stephen A. Smith, he think Jay Will was the one that needed to show up against Dallas but didn't, right? So I think he's learned from that. They learned a lot in the Denver series. And this team is they're continually learning. So we get to see them grow and turn into a championship caliber team, and we'll see what happens from here. Here's the coach again talking about them growing.
You guys have won in a lot of different ways this postseason, but to come off a historic loss the way you did, to have Chet, SGA, Jalen combined for 95 points, what did you learn about this young group now, one win away, to come back and win that way?
I learned nothing. This is they're easy to bet on. This team's easy to bet on. We had a very normal couple days leading into it, very normal shoot around today, and there's just kind of a sense, an internal sense that we were going to come out and it would be a much different game, just tonally, and it was. So didn't learn anything about the resilience or the perseverance, but we're still growing. These are all new experiences for us. It's the first time we've been up 2-0 this late in the season. First time we've been up 2-1 this late in the season. And now it's the first time we've been up 3-1, and we have to handle that correctly. But, from a resilience standpoint, this is the last group of guys you need to worry about.
It's all a learning experience. Like, all of this stuff is new to them. The conference finals is new to them. Like he said, being up 2-0 is new to them this late in the season. Being up 3-1 is new to them this late in the season. So coming into the they had to learn. They was up 2-0 and came out and later dud in game 3 and got the doors blowed off of them. They had to learn, hey man, ain't nobody gonna lay down for you. You got to come out and beat these teams. You got to be focused every single game, right? That's what you got to learn, right? Also, what you got to learn, now you up 3-1. Can you close them out at home? Because if you don't close them out at home, you're going to Minnesota. Can you come out with another focus like you had in game 4 and be focused? Or are you going to make the mistake you made in the Denver series and come out and play with your food and end up going to a game 7? Right? Have to learn those things. If they are able to get out of this series and get into the finals, that's another learning experience they have to learn. If they get to the finals and actually win it, the final test for them is, but can you come back and win it again? Can you be so focused? Like this is the difference between the greatest players and just great players. Michael Jordan got to the finals and got one, came back and was like, all right, can I focus? Like it's easy to focus one time starting in the off season, summer, workout, staying disciplined, training camp, preseason, in-season tournament, regular season, after the All-Star break when everything started to rev up, first round of the playoffs all the way to the championship, doing all that for a whole season, and then coming back and doing it the exact same way, but a little bit even better the next season, so you repeat. And then you do all that, and then you come back that summer and do it the exact same way, but a little bit better, and then three-peat. That's the great ones. So instead of doing what Boston did, they did all what they needed to do, got a taste of that championship champagne, and didn't focus the way they should have focused, and came back and got put out in the second round. Denver and Jokic ain't been back since they won theirs. Milwaukee and Giannis ain't been back since they won theirs. LeBron and the Lakers ain't been back since the bubble. You get what I'm saying? So it's a difference when you can keep coming back and do a repeat, a three-peat. So before we can anoint SGA as one of the great ones, or one of the or on a trajectory this would be one of the greatest ones, he got to get this team back here again. If they get out of this series and win the finals, they got to do it again before I become a believer. Those one-hitter quitters are like winning the lotto to me.
How did you not just scoring, not the scoring part, but how did you rebound from Saturday's game from an impact standpoint, just from your overall level of impact on the game?
Yeah, I honestly just tried to get lost in the game. Like, I tried not to worry too much about scoring or making plays or whatever it was. I tried to just lose myself in the competition, be aggressive, pick my spots, and doing so really helped. Let the game just come, and I think as a group we did that really well, and it was a main reason why we got the W. We just went out there and competed and played hard, and everything else just fell where it did.
Shay, they say you can't fake desperation. What will it take for this team to sort of match the urgency of the Wolves in Game 5?
We have to want it more than them. We have to want to win the game more than they want to win the game. We have to focus on the things that are going to help us win the game, and understanding the mindset of our opponent above all.
Yeah, that's the MVP speaking. They got to want it more than Minnesota for them to come out here and win this game. This Game 5. They got to want it more than Minnesota do. Minnesota go come out as desperate as they did last game in Game 3. So you got to expect that. Can you match it? Can you match it? I got a caller from Vancouver, Canada. Is that Vancouver, Canada? Okay, Vancouver, Washington. I was about to say I thought you was SGA cousin or something like that, man. What's your thoughts, big dog?
No. But hey, appreciate for taking my call, man. But one of my biggest things from watching the game is the difference between the two superstars, SGA and Ant-Man. SGA is playing more of the Kobe style, Kawhi style, MJ style, 98 MJ style. He's getting to his sweet spots, getting to that elbow, getting to that low post, mixing the game up, and just really just putting pressure on the defense. And when you watch Ant-Man, it's really frustrating because he can do the same thing, but he's playing the James Harden style. He's either going to come off that screen, and he's either going to pull a three or he's just going to try to get some Baja and either try to kick it out to DiVincenzo or McDaniels. So when the Thunder are keying in on him, it's just really easy for them to stop him. And so I feel like he just needs to change his game up more a little. Like, if you have Lou Dort on you, get down to the low post, come play off the ball, like do a little like floppy action where you can go get it, get to that elbow. But right now it looks like it's just too much SGA for them.
I agree 100%. And the crazy thing is, Anthony Edwards made an assertive effort to become more of a 3-point shooter this year. He said out of his mouth that he's going to shoot more threes this season, and he did, right? And he's felt it's easy to fall in love. I mean, the 3-point shot is a powerful drug. It's a powerful drug, man. It's hard not to fall in love with that thing. Just to see that 3-point shot go in. Oh man, just the way it come off your fingers, man, and you, bro. I get it, Ant-Man. I love the three ball as well. I get it, but like you got to change your mindset. You got to change it. You got so much mid range area that's just waiting for you to take over right there.
So much, but like as a coach, just Anthony Edwards, his game, how explosive he is. Once he comes off that screener, he does his combo into his move, and when he drives down to the hole, he's gonna try to dunk. He doesn't really take 2 steps and get to the hole and control himself. It's either he's gonna try to dunk or he's kind of off balance and he tries to throw it away. Which you have so much spot in that mid range, like you were saying, you can just go and release it. But where the game is predicated right now, they want to get to that 3-point line, and the athlete it's not doing them any good. It's
not doing them any good. It's doing them a disservice, man. I mean, when you listen to that clip of Michael Jordan when they asked him in the interview, why don't you take more threes? Why won't you utilize that shot? And he said, what I need to do for my team and how I need to be as a scorer. I never want to I never want to rely on 3-point shots because that means I'm not getting into the paint the way I need to for my team. Right? I never want to rely on that shot, man. I do my damage when I'm going to the basket, and I'm pulling up for the mid range. This is the thing that troubled me about Anthony Edwards, though. That troubled me in games 1 as well when he took 13 shots. When the three's not falling, in this case, it wasn't that the three wasn't falling. It was that Lou Dort never gave him room to even get a 3 off.
Right.
What you're supposed to be doing is saying, okay, well, obviously they got a game plan for everything I'm doing on the perimeter if I'm trying to get to my shot off the dribble, off the bounce, right? So you immediately switch it and say, okay, I'm going to do my damage off the ball, and you go in the mid post and you get the ball in the post on the elbow or the baseline, and you work from there, right? Or you go in the low post. Or you move without the ball and get in catch and shoot situations, whether you coming off some type of flare off, some type of pin down or curl action or anything. Like, it's so much stuff to your game without the ball that they're not even using for Ant Edwards. And I don't know if it's because they don't know it's legal for them to use it. That maybe they think it's illegal. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get why you're not using him off the ball, but that's my thoughts, though.
I don't understand it either. And like I said, as great as OKC's defense is, like once Ant gets it, he has to make a decision quick. Like once he get it, it looks like he's trying to size up, make his move, and then go. Like, no, the defense is collapsing too fast. He has to get the ball, and if he's coming off the screen, I feel like he needs to go and get to that 1-2 dribble pull up, 1-2, get him, thinking they're going to do it again, and go try to attack the hole. Like Ant Edwards, the athlete he is, and to bring it back, what you're saying about Mike Jordan, a 6'6". Just physical, just an athletic freak that he was, probably the most athletic player at the time, arguably. Would it even make sense for him? It wouldn't even make sense for him to be shooting that many threes. That wouldn't even be smart.
No.
So Edwards, his size, looking back at the players, Kobe, 5 rings, Mike, 6 rings, and he has that style of play. He should be watching film of them to see what they did because history is going to repeat. He's playing that James Harden style system. The history is repeat, and Kobe already said it. That style is not going to work.
It's not going to work.
I'm just afraid for that.
Yeah. Last thing though, last thing, I want to correct myself on my show because I did an episode before this series started, and I said, man, this is the closest thing we go ever see to Michael Jordan versus Kobe. You know, and and the reason why I said that is because SGA utilizes the mid range like Kobe, and Anthony Edwards has athleticism like Mike, right? That was the only reason why I said that. I explained it to everybody, and everybody was like, "Oh, he's nothing like Kobe. He's nothing like Mike." And I was like, "Man, y'all don't understand. Y'all can't listen to what someone says without just going high and right." But anyway, I do want to make a correction.
Yeah, what frustrates me about Anthony Edwards though is we've seen him before play that system. Like we've seen him play with great footwork. We've seen him get to that low post and get down low and shoot the midi. Like I just don't know why he doesn't just do it more often.
Yeah. Well, here I got a new comparison for Anthony Edwards. All right. I thought it was some Mike in him, and I was right, but it wasn't Michael Jordan. It was Michael Finley, and I it's a lot of Michael Finley there. And Michael Finley can ball, but I might have to give him Michael Finley. There's no Michael Jordan there. I apologize to everybody and all the basketball fans. It's Michael Finley. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And all like, you mind if I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's I just don't understand what people are complaining about SGA getting to the free throw line. I mean, as a basketball player, that's what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
All the great scores, Mike did it. Kobe got to the line, Harden, Luka. But the thing is, they're talking about a flop. Like we saw Harden flop a gang of times trying to get to the line. We've seen it from Luka as well, and Embiid. Like great scorers, they have a tendency to do something to try to deceive the defense to get to the line. So I don't know why it just changed for SGA.
Well, I figured I was thinking like you as well. Like, dang, I don't get it. Like I couldn't figure it out, but then I did figure it out. It's because there's no other critique that you can have on him right now. So that's the only one you can have. And the only reason why they're mad is because they're Jokic fans and he took Jokic MVP that they thought. And also, it's just Jokic fans.
But I don't get it because me personally, I'm a basketball fan. I do enjoy Jokic's game as well. Like I like Jokic, I like SGA, I enjoy watching Ant as well. But the Jokic flops too, which I don't understand.
He's the worst flopper. Jokic flops when he ain't even got the ball. Like it's a play for him. I think they call it computer blue. It's a play for him. Like he don't even have the ball. Like the team can score. I lie to you not. I watched so much Denver in the playoffs last year and this year. Jokic, this is a play for Jokic. You can let me say this. You know how teams used to foul before they came up with the take foul rule. You know how teams used to foul people to stop fast breaks.
No, I don't.
You don't remember that? Like a team would get a steal and a player foul them to stop the fast break. They'll take it out the side. That's why they came up with the rule to take foul.
Yeah. My bad.
Right. So that's just like a strategy. Like, okay, if y'all get a turnover, I'm gonna just foul you. I'm gonna just use one of my fouls instead of giving y'all a fast break. That's like a strategy. Well, I noticed Jokic has a strategy as well to stop runs. So if a team score 2 or 3 straight baskets, you always look for Jokic. He's going to come up court, and his man, wherever his man is, he's going to jump on it. He's going to jump on, like he jumps on him. Right. Have you seen him do that before?
They do it all the time. Or when they try to go, like if he's trying to set a screen for Jamal, he'll grab the screen man, the guy defending Jamal, whoever's getting him, he's just gonna just flop on him.
He jump on him and fold up like a lawn chair and land on the player. And force the referee to make a call, and the referee is like, and he does. So he does it to stop runs, and he does it if he gets fouled, if he feel like he got fouled and didn't get a call, he flops on someone and dares the referee to not call that one, because now I'm the MVP of the league and the star player that's getting marketed by the NBA, and you just let 2 or 3 straight fouls go. And now the crowd start booing you and all this stuff. Like it's a really good strategy, but he does it. Like he really just jumps on. And then when a player try to front him in the post, he'll jump on their back. I'm like, man, but they always call it on the other team. It's crazy. That's worse. That's worse than what SGA do. Shooting all these threes is worse than what SGA do. All these moving screens is worse than what SGA do. Like, it's so much stuff in basketball that's 10 times worse than what SGA is doing. That you got to be insane to be complaining about it.
Well, I just don't get it, because then they also complain about the 3-point shooting. But in SGA, he's not even a volume 3-point shooter. So what more do you want from him?
Correct.
I don't know. They just want him to be American. I think if he was American, they would find.
I agree.
They would like him more.
I agree. Well, I got another phone call. I'm gonna take this one, man. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, appreciate you. Take my call. Thank you.
All right. Caller from New York. Caller from New York, call back. Yeah. That is very interesting. Caller from New York.
Hi, it's Sabrina again.
Sabrina, what's good? How you doing?
I like that game.
It was a good game, man. That was a lot of shot making. 50% field goal percentage for both teams, and 40% for both teams behind the arc. Really good game.
Yeah, but I believe that Las Vegas need to get out of the whole thing was a setup. They needed the Wolves to win, and the lack of foul calling for OKC. But that last one with Randall with the challenge, come on now. Randall extended his elbow and bashed the guy in the face.
Yeah, I think they did overturn that one.
That was an off. No, they challenged. They took forever for the challenge. They probably was getting the buzz in their headset.
Yeah.
And they looked at it. They showed us the overhead view. He extended his elbow, bashed him in the face. That's an offensive foul and possibly a tech.
Yeah, I saw it.
The ball back to them.
Mm-hmm.
But they found out that the ball bounced off of Chet's head and decided they're going to overturn the call, but give the ball back to them because it hit them in the head on the way out of bounds. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. I said if they lose this game, it's because of that damn call. Because, it's big money if they can go 7 games.
Yeah, I say that. But you never know what they up to, man. When you're dealing with cricket businesses like this and entertainment business, you never know what they up to. They needed
the Wolves to even it out.
Yeah, maybe.
To almost ensure a 7-game series.
Maybe.
No, seriously, they probably lost a lot of damn money in Las Vegas tonight.
Possibly,
meaning
you
most
never know.
of the bets was probably for the
Well,
Timberwolves.
but I mean, if they lose money, they can always get it back with the next game.
Yeah, but I believe SGA should be the face of the NBA right now. They need to dethrone LeBron. Get rid of him because he's gonna make this clown show even worse next year because of you see what Rich Paul is doing right now. Because he knows that it's over next season. Once next season roll around,
yeah,
you watch and see what he's gonna do to that Laker organization next year. Jenny Buss gotta do what he says. He has more money than her.
Sheesh, that's crazy.
And she's beholden to him, and she just destroyed her father's legacy. Seriously, it's a laughing stock. What they allowed LeBron to do throughout his career to the league.
Yeah, I mean, I like SGA. I like him a whole lot, man. But it's a lot of players I like, man. I like SGA. I like Ant-Man. I like I like Wemby. I like Wemby. I mean, I like De'Aaron Fox. I mean, not for the face of the league. I'm just naming players I like. I like De'Aaron Fox. I like Kyrie. I like AD. Man, I like everybody, man. You know what I mean? So I like Afran Sengun.
But all the players that you like and are the players that's two-way players. They play defense as well.
I love defense. I
love defense. Yeah. Defense wins games. Defense and foul shooting. Yeah. I don't understand why these players get paid so much money and they can't shoot foul shots. It's disgusting. I used to coach. I coached for 10 years. I coached the boys league and I coached the female league for 4 years and the boys league for 6. And I have to let them know that foul shooting is important. When I used to go out on Sunday mornings, I call it when the drug addicts and the alcoholics are still asleep. I used to get up and go to the park at 5 o'clock in the morning with my ball. And the first thing I do is shoot 50 foul shots. And, you're getting your exercise because you're the only one out there. You got to go retrieve the ball regardless.
Yep.
Foul shooting is so important. It wins games. Those are freebie points. That's how the Knicks lost that first game. Missing 12 foul shots, they could have won game 1.
Yeah.
Had they not missed all the many foul shots.
Yeah, they shot themselves
And the
in the
big
foot with
guys,
that.
I believe the big guys, the centers, are the ones that have the biggest problem. The 7-footers with foul shots. Majority of the time throughout the league, they're the ones that should be practicing foul shots more than anybody.
Yeah. What else you see from the game? As let's go good, bad, and ugly, man. What you see good?
Well, they got fortitude, and I love SGA. All his comments with the media. LeBron need to take some damn hints. Everything is team, not I.
Yeah, it is.
I. He wants to take the credit when they win and throw everybody under the bus when they lose.
Yeah.
And he's been doing that his whole entire career. I don't know why the NBA kept him as the face of the league for his shenanigans. They should have dethroned him a long time ago.
Yeah. And I like the SGA respect his opponents when he speaks, man.
When they lose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, win or lose,
like
he's never gave any excuses for their loss. You know what I mean? But
he gives excuses, but he gives self-inflection excuses, meaning we have to do better.
Correct. And
then
all we got from Ant-Man is free throw. Well, first of all, they complained all during the game. Every foul call he didn't get. You know what I mean? So then they went in the press conference and complained about fouls and talked about fouls. Their coach talked about fouls. And then when they started getting
what else are they gonna say when him and Randall no show?
Then when they started getting foul calls going their way in Minnesota, all they did was pump their chest and stare people down after they scored and act like they was invincible. And I'm like, all right, okay. I mean, but nobody from OKC came in and complained about the fouls that they weren't getting.
No, because that's what little men do. Mind talking about his mind. Ant-Man is gonna keep it up. And if he doesn't change, he's gonna be known as the king of excuses.
He's gonna be known as Michael Finley. You can be Michael Finley.
Michael Finley gonna be better than that.
Yeah, he gonna be a Michael Finley real quick.
This is getting good. I just hope that OKC just take it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Take it in 6. Give it 6 just in case the Knicks win. The Knicks gonna have to take 7 games.
Well, they giving us some good basketball. They giving us some good basketball.
Get too much rest.
Yeah, that's true.
But Brunson needs to stop dribbling the air out the ball and not blame that on Thibodeau.
Yeah, it's a lot of things Thibodeau doing wrong, man.
Times that I see plenty of times when he's just dribbling, the guy's in the corner with his hands up, and he ain't got no intentions on actually passing the ball.
Notice Tibbs went a little deeper in his bench last game and they won.
Yeah. Well, he ain't had no choice.
He ain't had no choice.
I mean, they probably complaining in the background, just like what's his name, Bridges told the press, when we gonna get some rest? Yeah, you gotta rest the guys. You're gonna mess up their chances of winning if you wear them down so much that they wind up with muscle strains and whatnot, because you're playing them too many minutes. And he really didn't have to put Jalen Brunson back in that game at all. I think he didn't have to put him in there.
No,
they were still maintaining the lead.
I mean, he hit a big shot though. I mean, the well went dry. Yeah. They went a couple of trips down with and they didn't score. So I guess he waited as long as he could before he put Brunson in. And as soon as Brunson got in, he hit a big. He hit that
2-point. He hit that layup.
Yeah, exactly. So he played it right. He played it right, but
Well, thank God for Josh.
Yeah.
With the rebound.
Yeah, for sure. But thanks for the call, Sabrina. I'm gonna take one more call and I'm gonna end the stream tonight. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Good night.
Yep. All right, let's get one more call, y'all. We'll get one more call. It was one call. Oh, this caller from Atlanta, Georgia. This better not be Michael Finley.
Man, hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, yeah, man, I'm calling about this game, man. It was a pretty good game all the way through the end. I think the good, bad, and the ugly, man. I mean, the supporting cast from Minnesota, these guys showed up the way they did in game 3. The guy who went to Illinois, I believe his name's Terrence Shannon, man. I definitely want to see next season him getting more involved in that rotation over at Minnesota, because these dudes run 8-man rotations, and when you see with Minnesota and Indiana throughout these playoffs, man, you gotta go deep into your bench. So I definitely want to see that. From Anthony Edwards, man, like, you're taking 13 shots and you the superstar player. I'm definitely rooting for Ant. I mean, you see my area code, so definitely rooting for Ant to try to pull this out. But golly, man, like, you can't be It was times in the game where this guy was just looking real passive. And then Julius Randle, oh man, I don't even want to talk about that, man. 1 for 7. But hey, like, the biggest thing I want to tap in on is this Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hate. Like you said, man, it's a lot of the Jokic fans. I talked to a lot of guys, and they more so support Jokic because of the kind of like just because of the triple doubles. If you didn't play, if Jokic gets off the team, they got a negative net rating. But I'm like, come on, man, you got AG, Michael Porter, all those guys. You can't tell me that that's not a good team without Jokic, man. You just got to change the offense over there.
Correct.
But yeah, man.
Yeah.
But overall,
so look, back to that, Jokic. You made a lot of good points, man. And what people don't realize is if I design an offense that has to have Jokic in it to work, like, that offense it revolves around Jokic. Jokic is the hub for everything they do on offense. Jokic is setting everything up, and the only other wrinkle they got is a high screen roll with Jamal Murray. That's right. It. That's their entire offense. The entire offense is Jokic doing whatever he do. Everyone else standing in the corners or standing on the arc waiting for a 3. Somebody might slash. That's their entire offense. And Jokic is supposed to make all of that happen off his high post, low post, mid post, or whatever he's doing with the ball, and he makes the passes or take the shot. That's the offense. And then let's let Jamal Murray in the late fourth quarter, let's let him run his high screen and roll and get his shots that way, especially if you're hot. So when Jokic goes out,
I want to say real quick,
how do you run that? When Jokic goes sit down, how do you run that?
Mm-hmm.
You can't.
No, I just wanted to say real quick, don't let him play against the Lakers with that high screen and roll, man. That dude be heating up. LA.
Oh, yeah. He lights the Lakers up all the time.
Oh man. And then, but man, I gotta tip my hat off to this OKC team, man. Like, the biggest critiques I hear about these dudes is pretty much the youth, but they're pretty much showing like, hey man, like, last year that was our growing pain. So every other series you're saying that they're adjusting. So if they keep that up, man, they can definitely win this championship, and it's gonna be a lot of uncomfortable conversations, because like you said, the only thing you can really get on Shai about is getting to the free throw line. And me being the guy who complains about all the threes being taken, Shai is a breath of fresh air. But hey, I don't know what to say, man. Those are just, I think it's just a matter of if an American player was doing this, or better yet, if a guy with some aura, because, that's what you hear a lot. If a guy ain't got no aura, then, man, you might as well just go ahead and critique everything he do.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, because they act like Jason Tatum ain't do nothing.
Hey, man, Jason Tatum, boy. Listen, no, I got to say this, right? Game 1 against the Knicks, man, Halliburton did the choking like Reggie Miller. Man, let Jason Tatum do something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. man.
Man, these
That's
dudes.
all I had to say.
Yeah, I appreciate.
What's up?
Man, look, these dudes won't. I mean, I don't understand how you knock a dude because he ain't, he ain't like somebody. Like, they always telling me don't stop comparing players and stop comparing players, but then they turn around and say Tatum ain't like Kobe or Tatum ain't like MJ. Therefore, we can't get behind him as like a key cog in the NBA or the face of the league, man. I just hate it, man. But it is what it is, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the call.
Personalities, man.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
All right, thanks, man.
All right.
All right, so last thing I say, y'all, let me get this phone line off the screen. Hey, did I miss anything, y'all? Since we're talking about the Jokic thing real quick, this is the last thing I speak about, right? This summer I got this thing. I'm gonna make a couple of videos. I already did one. It's called Operation Help Jokic, right? And I'm gonna help his fans, the ones that say, "Oh man, trade Murray, trade Gordon, trade Michael Porter Jr." Like they want to trade everybody, and they say, I mean, I heard the fan look in there because I like going like some Denver Nuggets chat groups on Twitter Spaces, on X, and all that stuff, right? And I just listen to them talk and complain and just complain and it's all complaints. I mean, I ain't never heard so many people complain about their own team. Like, do you like Denver or do you just like Jokic? Because they would lose a game. Jokic could have the worst game of his life. They would lose that game, and I would go in their Twitter Spaces, and the conversation would be about what Michael Porter Jr. didn't do. Michael Porter Jr. could have 24. Jokic could have 15 and 10 turnovers, and the conversation to be about what Michael Porter Jr. didn't do, right? And I'm like, man, why people think like that, man? They just complain. Like every loss, they complain about his teammates. If the teammates perform well and they still lose, they was complaining about how many free throws SGA got. But when they win after a great performance from Murray and a game winning from Gordon, all they could talk about was how close Jokic got to a triple-double. So they're not going to be satisfied because every time they lose, they say Jokic has never had an all-star. He's never played with an all-star. Like playing with an all-star automatically makes your team better. Like it doesn't. Like what makes your team better is actually playing great basketball. Just because you drop an all-star on the team don't mean you're going to play great basketball. Denver played great, they played great basketball with the pieces they got now. They're not playing great basketball now. They played great basketball when they won the championship with the pieces they got now. They're not playing. The difference is now they're not playing great basketball no more. Right? They're too Jokic centric. Once he started getting a taste of them triple doubles, he got closer and closer every year to averaging a triple double until he averaged it this year. Right? The offense changed for him to get to that triple double average. You could tell that was the priority. Because they was playing phenomenal to get that ring. And then it was like, all right, Jokic, let's go for history. Let's go get 6 MVPs. Let's go. I mean, you could tell, right? I was listening to a podcast when Lonzo Ball podcast. I'm gonna do an episode on this, y'all, probably tomorrow. But I was listening to Lonzo Ball's podcast, and he was telling us about Julius Randle when they played with the Lakers together. And he said at the beginning of the season, they sat everybody down, not like one-on-one, but like as a group, as a team. And they went over their roles for the season. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. And they get really strategic and really specific about what your role is. And Lonzo Ball said when they got to Julius Randle, they told Julius Randle. Now imagine telling the guy this with his type of ability. They told Julius Randle, your job is to get rebounds and set screens. That is it. How do you tell a person that? Your job is to get rebounds and set screens. That's all. You ain't getting no post-ups. We're not running no plays for you. You're a screen setter and a rebounder and a defender. That's what they told Julius Randle. And Lonzo Ball was like, what? He the best player on the team. Like, he's one of the best players. This must have been a year before LeBron got there. He's one of the best players on the team. Like, how y'all tell him that? Right? And people wonder why Michael Porter Jr. only shoot threes. That is his role. You can tell that's his role. In that offense, when you got 4 guys around the 3-point line, they're letting you know what the offense they're running. They want threes to go up off of Jokic's assist. And if Michael Porter wasn't on the floor to be a threat as a 3-point shooter, Jokic would get double teamed a lot more. And we've seen what happens when he gets double teamed in the OKC series. He can get guarded by Caruso. Guess why the floor wasn't spread like it used to be? Because Michael Porter Jr. had a hurt shoulder and couldn't even lift his arm up. Good luck getting a lot of threes out of him consistently. So you can look at Michael Porter Jr. and tell his role is just to get them threes up. That's all they probably ask him to do. And of course, rebound and play defense for Jokic. But as far as you running any type of offense, getting a post up, getting a play call, us calling the screen for you, I mean, as good a shooter he is at 6'11", he ain't getting no type of Reggie Miller, Rip Hamilton coming off any type of double screen or any type of curl or anything. He ain't getting none of that. No Allen Houston type stuff. None of that. Just go stand over in the corner. Go stand on MLK corner with a bag of dope. Wait for Jokic to pass you the ball. And when he passes it to you, you better shoot it. Don't take a dribble. Don't go to the hole. Shoot it because he needs the assist. You have to shoot it when he passes to you. That's what's going on. So it don't matter if that's an all-star. I heard one of the fans say, trade Michael Porter Jr. for Zach LaVine. Okay. What's the difference between Zach LaVine standing in the corner and Michael Porter Jr. standing in the corner? Michael Porter Jr. actually a better shooter than Zach LaVine. And Zach LaVine get a lot of his stuff off the bounce with the ball in his hand. Imagine taking the ball out of Jokic's hand. Imagine telling Jokic, we taking the ball out of your hand so Zach LaVine and Jamal Murray can run the offense. So, and it's crazy. I heard them say that in the Twitter spaces, and I heard them say that on Gil's Arena. Kenya Martin said that, man. Kenya Martin and Brandon James was like, oh, man, yeah, I'll take Zach LaVine over Michael Porter Jr. any day. I'm like, y'all don't know what they telling him to do. This is what they're telling him to do. Shoot threes. And that's it. Now we're telling Zach LaVine to shoot threes, and that's it. We'll see how they go. He'll be traded by All-Star break. It's going to be a failed experience. People think they go get upgraded once they get rid of Michael Porter Jr. They think they go get something in return that's better. I can't wait. So, Operation Help Jokic. I want to help them out, man. Get trades. I want to help them get trades, man. Let's say Indiana loses to New York in this conference finals and they want to make some changes. So, you got to look for an all-star, right? So I look for all-stars. So let's see what works. Where if you want Siakam, you're gonna have to give up a lot because that's $42 million on the cap. Right. So you can't do a head up for Siakam and Porter. You gotta make it work. So to make the money work, you gonna have to you got to throw something else in there. When you look at their salary, y'all go to this trade generating machine the ESPN do online, and you try to see what all-star you can get to fit with the Denver Nuggets. And when you see what the money situation look like, you go realize it ain't as easy as you think, and you might end up giving Porter and Gordon up to get it. So would y'all like? I'm just the Denver fans. Would y'all like Siakam with all these other pieces to make the money work for Porter Jr. and Gordon? If I'm Indiana, I'd do that. So now you got a big three of Siakam, Jamal Murray, and Jokic. Y'all like that better? Let me know if y'all like that better. Siakam not a 3-point shooter like Michael Porter Jr. And Aaron Gordon was your best defender and guarded all the best players who also could score in the mid-range, in the post, slashing, catching alley-oops. He also clashed the boards and got offensive rebounds. He cleaned the glass on defense. And he also could hit the three. Shot at his best he ever shot it in his career this year, over 40%. Right? So losing Gordon, it's going to be horrible. Losing Porter going to be bad as well. But you get Siakam, man. Are y'all cool with that, Denver fans? I need to hear from a Denver fan, man. So Shador said that's good. He said that's good. I love it. Oh my God. I hope they do something like this. I love it, man. Oh man, Denver gonna be going down, baby. Yo, street in the range. Whoa. Hey, this gonna be bad. What about Michael Porter Jr. straight up for Jaylen Brown? Well, you got to add somebody in there to make the money work, though. But maybe Boston was like, dang, Tatum not coming back. And this is because y'all said y'all want an all-star, right? So I just went to the all-star roster and was like, man, who could fit? How could the money work? And what team would be willing to give one of their all-stars away? Right. So here we go. Jaylen Brown. Maybe Boston is like, dang, Tatum gonna miss an entire year because of his Achilles. He's making tons of money. Jaylen Brown's making tons of money, but we ain't gonna be competitive with just him without Tatum. I might want to not spend so much money. Maybe Al Horford retire. You know, Porzingis might not be able to get healthy again. Like maybe Boston start thinking about cutting their salaries down. And they tell Jason Tatum, look, man, we're going to have to get rid of some of these dudes. And when you come back, you're going to have to be the guy without Brown with you. So maybe they get rid of Brown for Michael Porter Jr. How does Brown fit with Jokic? Now, remember, when Brown get most of his points and most of his shots is with the ball in his hand off the dribble. So now you got Murray who get most of his points with the ball in his hand off the dribble. And now when Murray don't got it, in order for Brown to get his points, he need to get his points with the ball in his hand off the dribble as well. What does that leave Jokic to do all his Jokic things with the ball? Because Jaylen Brown ain't about to come over here making 50 mil and go stand over in the corner like Michael Porter Jr. You drafted Michael Porter Jr. as like an 18, 19-year-old kid. And Mike Malone benched him for not doing what he wanted him to do, and he wasn't getting his playing time, and then he finally had to get in the game and earn his playing time, and then you know he played phenomenal. They won a championship, then he got his money. But this is a kid that you grew up that he still haven't shown his full arsenal of what he could do as a player because he's playing this role in Denver. So he's okay with going to go stand in the corner because, hey, look, y'all made me a rich man. And I got a ring like this, so I'm okay with that. But good luck telling an all-star Jaylen Brown, who everybody say is arrogant and smart and all this, he knows his worth. Good luck telling him to go stand in the corner. Because when he shows up over there, in his mind, I'm better than Jamal Murray, number one. Number two, I work harder on my body than Jokic. He's not about to come over there and play second fiddle to Jamal Murray, and he might not even play second fiddle to Jokic. At least when he look over at Tatum, he sees somebody that's working as hard as he is and working on his body and staying in shape. He go over there and say, like, man, this how y'all get down. Y'all let this fat. I ain't gonna say nothing. Y'all letting him do this? So good luck. How you go get him in check? to play with him. Like, what all-stars go fit in that system? Y'all do know y'all change. If y'all get an all-star, y'all got to change your system. And if you change your system, Jokic won't be averaging triple doubles no more. So are y'all willing to sacrifice? And this is just the Denver fans. Are y'all willing to sacrifice Jokic's numbers for wins? Are y'all willing to say, okay, Jokic, we not playing triple double basketball no more. We playing real basketball. So are you willing to play something bigger than yourself, or do you still want triple doubles every game? It's gonna be either or. It's not gonna be both. Now here's a big trade, because I hear Milwaukee and Giannis is talking about parting ways. Can you make a run at Giannis? That's 48, 49 mil. You really got to make that money work for that. So you gonna have to make that work. You gonna have to give up Porter and Aaron Gordon, Dario Saric, Pickett, just to make the money work. In return, you go get Kuzma and Giannis. Y'all like that? I like that. Giannis, Jokic. So you get defense, you get a 30-point score, and you still got Jamal Murray. But whose team does it become when Giannis get there? He's not a shooter, so he's not going to be standing over in the corner. So guess what you got to do? You got to give Giannis the ball. Let him run downhill. What Jokic go do? How does that offense work? How do you spread the floor with Giannis on the floor? You're not gonna stand here over in the 3-point line and say, "Hey, just stand there and catch and shoot when Jokic passes it to you." That's not gonna happen. So them double teams gonna be coming. Now, Giannis he's gonna cut. He's not gonna stand at the 3-point line. He's gonna cut. But that's the same thing we thought of Westbrook. Of course, Westbrook is not as big as Giannis. So Giannis cutting and Westbrook cutting is two different things. I understand. But is this how y'all want to play your offense? Basically, what Giannis is going to become is Aaron Gordon without the threes. He's going to be the guy that's going to be guarding the best player if they're wing. He's going to be slashing and catching those alley-oops from Jokic. But the only difference is he's at his best when he got the ball in his hand. That's different from Aaron Gordon. So how are you going to incorporate that? Once again, Jokic numbers are going to go down. So any all-star you go and get, you got to change the way you play. And guess what the catch-22 is to that? If you change the way you play, you can keep the guys you got and win. You don't have to make a trade. If you change the way you play and stop playing triple-double basketball, you will win more games. So making a trade for an all-star, and guess what will happen if you win more games? Somebody on your team is going to make all-star. The reason why Denver don't get another all-star other than Jokic is because you don't get multiple all-stars from a team that's in the 5th seed. When you look at the teams that got multiple all-stars, except for a couple of years, maybe a year that Phoenix, maybe it was last year, not this year, last year, where Phoenix didn't have such a great record, but they still chose Booker and KD in the all-star. Right, that's an anomaly, but it's because it's already two established perennial all-stars that the NBA really don't want to leave out. So that give you your leeway and give you the benefit of the doubt. But for the most part, the teams that got multiple all-stars are occupying the number 1 seed in their conference, the number 2 seed, maybe the number 3 seed. But you're not going to go all the way to the 5th seed and get 2 all-stars. So when when Boston was in the 1 seed in the East, 2 seed in the East, you got Tatum and Brown, right? When SGA is in the 1 seed, you get Williams and SGA, right? When who else? Who was number 1 last year? I'm trying to think. in the East. Oh, this year. Who was number 1 in the East this year? Cleveland. Cleveland number 1. They had multiple All-Stars. I think they might have had 3. Mitchell, Garland. But no, just Mitchell and Garland. I don't think they got Mobley in. Might have just been Mitchell and Garland, but that's 2. Right? So when you're in the 1 and 2 seed, you can get that. Detroit back in the day, they had Billups, Rip Hamilton, and Rasheed. Right? So you got to be in the top seed to get multiple All-Stars. So it's not that Denver don't have All-Star level players. Is that they play such a bad brand of basketball, they can never, with the best player in the league, you would think they're being the 1, 2, or 3 seed consistently. But they're consistently in the 5th seed, 4th seed, 4th and 5th. They're rarely up in that number 1 seed. That's why they're not having multiple All-Stars. That's why. Houston only had 1 All-Star this year with Sengun. Right? And nobody was saying, oh man, Sengun ain't got no help. He ain't never played with no All-Star. Sengun was the only All-Star in Houston. Nobody is calling his players out and saying, oh man, he need more help. And Sengun is not the best player in the world, supposedly, quote unquote. It's supposed to be Jokic. So how is it Sengun can get in the 3 seed? They might have been in the 2 seed. No, they don't know. OKC was 1. Yeah, Houston was in the 2 seed with 1 All-Star. But you telling me Jokic can't get in the 2 seed with just him being an All-Star? But Sengun can do it. You want to know why Houston could do it? Because they played freaking defense. They played defense. So, yeah, man. Operation Help Jokic out. We go find y'all All-Star, man. We go find y'all a trade. We go find y'all a trade, man. I know Denver fans are crying right now, man. SGA up 3-1. He got the MVP holding it, man. He got the title of best player in the world. And it looked like he about to get a trip to the finals, man. I know y'all hurt, Jokic fans, Denver Nuggets fans. I know y'all hurt, man. Like, it's not fair. It's really not fair. It's not fair that Jokic can't play defense. And I feel for y'all, man, but it is what it is, man. I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.